Hands in the air. This is a presentation. I want your mind and body, and not to mention, for the rest of your life I need your undivided attention. Now I can use this time to attempt to leave you breathless. This is my death wish. I have grown tired of living, but suicide is not an option, so I will be here until my angel comes knocking. But do not think, because I have stepped away from my cabin, that I am no longer preparing for the apocalypse, because that day is still coming. And when it does, I will be gunning for every last one of these sawn-off pistols and long-range rifles from over 1.5 miles away. I can snap you out of existence at that distance. One must factor in wind resistance, curve of the earth and heat displacement, following in the footsteps of great men, from all the way back when Abraham asked for forgiveness. Repentance is a personal decision. There will come a time when all eyes would be looking, but until then, don't you dare look at me. You don't take me seriously. And I suppose in some parts I encourage it. I say a lot of things that perhaps can be seen as facetious, maybe even arrogant. I was once told not to say certain things because some folks don't understand them. My response was, that is not my problem. As much as I wish not to alienate the masses, I will not assume another person's intelligence or lack thereof. Now I do not claim to be a genius, but if I was, I would go back to the genesis and offer Tyrannosaurus 3 wishes, none of which I would uphold. You see, I am not the nice guy having a tough time. Left to my own devices, I will cut off your eyelids way before I ever say hi kids. I am the bandit, fighting battles on other planets, deep inside the war zone, dodging air support drones, taking down an army of clones. Yet, you think this is a joke. I am not here for the enjoyment. I am here because I have to be. I am here to protect my family. So when the voice yells, finish him, I will rip your leg off, then beat you to death with it, then ride into the sunset. I just lost my best friend, so I chose to avenge him by killing 100 henchmen, along with the one guy who caused it. Heroes hardly ever stay past the credits. Most folks leave when they start to roll it. The allegory is nobody cares about who created it. Nobody cares how it came into existence. They just take it for granted. So let's talk about some trees for a minute. They grow, sprout leaves, emit a gas that we breathe. But we do not grow from the ground or emerge from the sea. We do not fall from the sky, we move independently. Yet, somehow all just fits so perfectly. Now this makes me think there must be an amazing entity that's put this all together so brilliantly, but I know some of you don't believe. I know you would rather be skeptic and not accept anything without the most hardcore of evidence. I just think it is better to ignore human logic and ride unicorns in the desert. Charge horn-thirst into vampires, hunt demons in the moonlights. The underworld will not stay under for much longer. Everything that you heard when you were younger about wizards, witches, trolls and monsters, your parents told you that they were make-believe. But these are all based on small parts of history, so at least some of it is true. Now which part? Oh, here's a clue. Have you seen how the devil plays tricks, making you think that this is all there still is? So we live in relative comfort. My biggest problem is I put up a status over an hour ago and still no one has liked it. Plus I haven't had a retweet for ages. Maybe some of you can relate to this. Now all I ever see these days is how much people hate some TV musical. We browse the internet being cynical, using machines that wouldn't work without certain minerals such as forced vaginal penetration, body mutilation like limbs disappearing, so tell Charles Darwin. I rebuke his ideas on evolution, because if we truly evolved from primates, we'd be a lot more peaceful. Now I used to retreat to simpler times. Well, that's a lie. Like in 1269 when the word nice had a different meaning. Truth is, there aren't many moments in history when there wasn't any conflict. We human beings are only good at two things, that's disobeying constitution and killing. And with every season, we talk about progression, and that's we have come a long way, when the truth is we don't change. We just find new ways of staying the same, constantly finding someone else to blame for the misery that we live and the mistakes that we make. Sometimes, all it takes is just one heartbreak to lose all faith in humanity, and contrary to popular belief. The number one reason for all these predicaments is not religion. It is the selfishness that we encourage. It is every time that we walk past a homeless man and said he probably deserves it. It is a small indiscretion, but even the smallest of things carry weights to the point where mouths can sink a ship. And if you think that you can see the tip of the iceberg in the mist, slow down. Nature will bitch that pure arrogance, make fools of those who harm the environment, turn the powerful into savages while rich men find ways to enslave the governments. Don't think for a second there aren't other forces at hand. Hermetic societies controlling the land, making decisions that determine the life of a man. I believe to never be discovered was their original plan, but someone from amongst their clan realized that the testimony from an unqualified man will always be treated as fiction, and if that man also happens to have an addiction, then he is ignored by all in his district. So I do not think it is a coincidence that terms like drug use and conspiracy theorists tend to go in the same sentence. And maybe I'm being pretentious when I say that I refuse to contend with anyone who advocates one thing and acts out the opposite. I find hypocrisy extremely abhorrent, and I just wish I can go back to my spaceship. But my young apprentice took it without permission. Now he's off gallivanting around solar systems, often with a female assistant, whom he cares for but seldom falls in love with. Speaking of which, when it comes to women, I'm like that feeling you get from soul songs. I ain't no James Bond. I'm just the one that makes your wife's heart skip. I'm the one that she's thinking about when you are not looking. Don't get on the defensive. This isn't an attack on your manliness. Just give me a minute to explain this. You see, I'm the reason that she tells you to go from behind so she can close her eyes and pretend that your parts are mine, and when you fail to satisfy, once again, she goes into the next room, applies a layer of hand lube and masturbates the sound of my voice. Now before we get carried away, let me just say that this does not make me happy. I am not interested in being a fantasy. I would rather be the reality, but I know you don't see me that way. You don't take me seriously. You don't believe I can love you like you need, so you pass by casually, keep walking by. Now I am used to it, but I digress. Let me get back to this malfeasance. I see no valuable pieces. Damn it, has someone been here before me? Don't laugh, it is not funny. I do this for a living. How else can I pay my tuition? How else can I see my plans to fruition? Don't tell me crime doesn't pay. Neither does living the right way. The cost of living is always rising, but wages stay the same. Meanwhile, wars I did not ask for being conducted in my name. Little kids getting blown to bits just to keep me safe, but as long as it's happening miles away, we go about our lives day to day, complaining about the weather when the skies are grey. I'm not trying to get you to join some defunct campaign. I'm just trying to get you to think for a minute. Think about the lives that we are living, claiming that we have freedom, but do we really know its meaning? And I'm not that naive to believe that war can never lead to peace. I just don't believe that peace is the ultimate destiny for these greedy people. There is no money if we are equal, so they need us on a seesaw to keep them high above the floor. So what do you think would happen if we all stepped off? Their entire reality would fall. So all that they do is to keep us from mutiny. Freedom does not exist in this society. Just the perception of liberty. The actuality is that slavery never ended. It's just evolved past color of skin and became more sophisticated. Now it comes down to a person's status, countries that we are not a part of. Decide what's best for us while we never raise our hands up. We just accept it. They made us believe that this is all that there is. They made us believe that without them, we are nothing. So we keep calm and carry on. It is easy to ignore the ones that do not speak up. The voices we heard as children taught us to probe further and question. But now that we are grown, we stay silent as if to speak your mind is embarrassing. Real and intelligent ones of this world are all under the age of 12, painting pictures of solar systems not yet discovered by Earth scientists. We look at it, say it's cute, but do not understand it. Esoteric messages conveyed by different brushes. When you are older, they will tell you that your art is worthless. They will never give you a penny for your work so you can conform to their standards. They will not be happy with you until you are like them. That is what is expected. Just don't expect anything back when it's time to claim its justification. So, if that is what you call civilization, I will not be a part of its perpetuation. I have been uncivilized since day one. Matter of fact, I've been hardcore since before I was born. As soon as I developed arms, I was swinging samurai swords, learning from ancient books on war. So yes, I respect soldiers. I just don't always respect what they are fighting for, and I believe there are some things worth dying for. One must applaud those willing to risk it all. I'm an old soul, at least 10,000 years old. I lost count during China's rule under Mongol. I've seen lots of things in this big old world, and I've done even more. Searching for Shambhala and the Chintamani stone, I spent most of my time alone. This allows me to see without dilution. So despite the general conclusion, Peter Anthony Allen and Gwyn Owen Evans were not last executions in Britain. It's just now they don't wait for the court system. Policemen chase you through your residence, shoot you until you're underground line, kill you in front of many witnesses, then tell the press that you started it. Have the media population image taken out of context so they can sway the public to believe that you deserve it. And if you happen to look like a terrorist, you can get shot in a tube station while minding your own business. After a few inquests, the worst they might get is fine. don't believe their lies. They are not here for your benefits. To them, you are just a paycheck. Now I know I fail at social interactions, I never know what the procedure is. But surely, a boy being killed by a man chasing him should never be accepted. So now, I am trying to be introspective and examine my own perceptions to make sure that I am not making any guesses. But how does a man get murdered in public and it take nearly 20 years for only 2 of his killers to be convicted? The law does not protect the innocent. It penalizes all those who follow it. In a realm where demons walk freely amongst the people, feeble minds don't think past this life. Stars collide inside a vortex. The complexities of humanity is astounding. It's hard to know the boundaries when nobody looks at the mirror, they just look at their reflection. Vanity rears its ugly head when it thinks no one is watching. For all those who know the value of a human, stay focused on what truly matters. And always remember, death will come for everyone.